Ciao ragazzi, eccoci stasera con una nuova chiacchierata per far la conoscenza con un altro dei protagonisti della prossima Red Bull XAlps 2025. Attesissima 12ª edizione della più appassionante gara di I Can Fly al mondo. Quest'anno FIVL con i suoi canali e con il sottoscritto è stata invitata formalmente e accreditata come media press nella competizione. Quindi saremo presenti nei giorni preparatori allo start, durante la gara e poi durante lo svolgimento saremo di nuovo live con i teams, i piloti, gli organizzatori che man mano avranno modo di collegarsi con noi. Ok, siamo pronti? Questa sera non indugiamo oltre, siamo pronti per parlare con...
Hey everyone, this is Tom the Dorlodot from Team Belgium. I just can't wait to be at the start line of Red Bull XAlps 2025. This is going to be my 10th XAlps. I'm so excited and I'm so looking forward to it.
Ok, bene ragazzi, questa sera con noi Tom de Dorlodot. Abbiamo appena visto l'annuncio dove purtroppo a causa di un incidente passato ha dovuto ritirarsi dalla gara, ma sarà comunque molto presente anche quest'anno nella Red Bull XAlps. Hello Tom and welcome to our channel. Thank you to be here.
Hello Rinaldo, it's a pleasure to be here. I love to hear Italian. It's for sure my favorite language for sure. I'm trying to learn Portuguese now and it's much more difficult, but I understand everything you say, so it's cool.
Oh, good, very well, very well. So first of all, so let me say it in Italian. Come stai? How are you?
Good. I'm good. What do you say? Like tutti bene or something like that?
Tutto bene. Yes.
Tutto bene. Yeah, I'm okay. I'm okay. I've been better as you know, because I broke my leg a year ago and I've had a lot of complications. When I broke my leg last year and I caught an infection at the hospital, bacteria, and since then I had many surgeries and things have been a bit complicated, but now we can see the light at the end of the tunnel. The leg is healing well, the bone graft is taking, and it's just a question of time before I can be flying again. So that's okay.
Right. Yes. Well, you were to be the let's say the longest. How can you say? You made already 9 times the XAlps, closing twice in 2019 and 2023, the last edition. And so you have a very, very big experience of this race. What do you think about the route of this year?
The route this year is beautiful. I love it. I'm almost happy I don't have to go through it because it's a technical one. It's a difficult one. It's a very long one. It might very well be the most difficult and the obviously the longest one. But technically speaking, there's a lot of crossing of the main ridge of the Alps, which makes it quite difficult, and also it has a lot of landing via ferratas. So yeah, it might take a lot of time. And as you know, I mean, we fly better now. The gliders are always better. The pilots are more prepared, so we cover more distance. But if the weather is bad on a scenario like this one and on this type of route, this can become a nightmare really, and it can be really long. And actually, I'm even like kind of if you have 5 or 6 days of bad weather, it might even happen that no one makes it to go, Yeah, so but it's a very interesting route. Really happy to see the lines. I'm actually planning to come and follow the race from in the backstage, because I think this is going to be a beautiful race. And also the fact that people will have to land quite a lot might also stop people in the front, and it'll be very interesting to follow the strategies and see how people go through it. So, but because you said it, I've been there since 2007, and the race has evolved a lot. I mean, imagine in 2007 we were with paper maps. We didn't have GPSs. We didn't have smartphones. We would say to the team, "Hey, I see you at the church of this village, maybe this evening." Yeah. We would, like, all the teams. The teams were really small. We only had one guy, one supporter, no one else. So it was very small teams. It was a lot of work for only one guy. And I remember going into lines, to buy food at the supermarket. as the athlete, I would stop for a gelato in Italy, you know, and wait in line. So the race has changed. You know, things are going way faster now, much more professional, and it's very interesting to see.
Yeah, it's true, absolutely, because I've already done some interview, and all of them, they are all with 4 or 5 guys, 2 cars. I mean, Meteo Man, somebody taking care of the cooking and everything, somebody carrying the stuff. It's the teams are really getting. I mean, it's looking like to be a Formula One race, even because we see the pilots after 5, 6, 10 days still there fighting for the first position. We have seen also 2 years ago, at the end, in 2, 3 days, 10 pilots arrived, or even more, or 15 pilots arrived. So
yeah. I mean, 2 years ago, the day I arrived, I think from number 7 to 14, everyone arrived in 1 hour. You know,
in
so
1
it's
hour.
like crazy to think that in no, like after 1,250 kilometers, we all arrive in 1 hour. The level is really high, and everyone is capable of amazing flights now. You know, so it all, and that's also why we have bigger teams now, because people, you know, they really take every detail into account. You really have to be extremely well prepared, and you can only make the difference with those small details, you know. So
Yes.
food is one thing, you know, where you sleep, how comfortable it is, if you can get a shower, if you have you know, a massage in the evening, things like that, you know, makes a difference. I know, I remember races where some of the teams, you know, where the 2 of them would sleep in one car, you know, like behind the pilot seat, in a, like this, you know, and no tents, no camper van, no shower, you know, we would. And so it has changed. The thing is, what's really cool about it is that now we have this resting period also, where we can sleep and rest. And so the level of flying, it's there's more focus on the flying. There's people who are well rested, so they can fly better, safer also, and faster. And it's very interesting to see how you know, how performant the teams are now, and how experienced they are. So that's going to be really cool to see. Obviously, it has a downside. It's that if you want to participate at the X-Alps, it becomes a budget. I mean, if you want to make it through, and it becomes more expensive. The first time I did it, I think I spent 1,500 euros for the whole thing. You know,
In total,
yeah. Like I had a small old post car, you know, like a Volkswagen Caddy, and
right?
I sleep inside, but I had to bend my knees because it was too big for it. And we let the door open in the back it was raining on my feet during the night, you know, but we would just go for it, and that was it. But yeah, it has changed, but it's cool. It's cool to see how performance, you know, how fast the guys are going now, and how exciting the race is becoming with the live tracking also. So yeah, it's going to be an interesting ride. Also, you have to find the right balance, because if you have a massive team, there's a lot of people you have to deal with, a lot of people you have to manage. There's a bit of inertia, you know. So I personally prefer to have a smaller team. I know Kriegel does the same, like 3, 4 people max, 2 cars max, you know, and try to keep it under control, because when you have a lot of people, also you do get a lot of problems.
Sure, a lot
So
of problems. Yes.
it's all about balance, you know. You want to be very effective, and you want to be fast on the ground. So a smaller team sometimes is better.
Is better, sure. So you are part of the commission of the pilots. Will you still be part of it?
Yeah, I was. So I've been in the pilot committee for some years now, and the organization asked me if I would stay. And obviously, I have more time now, so because I'm going to be on the side of the race, so I will play this role. Yeah, I will be there. I think it's an important role to play. I've always been there to defend the pilots, you know, and their interest, and also because I'm very focused on safety, you know. And for me, it's important to take care of the pilots and make sure that the communication between pilots and the organization is good. So yeah, I will be there. I will be helping as much as I can, and I'm super excited about it.
Right. So tell me something about Kitzbühel. Last time, sorry, you were in the starting line. How is it to let's say start the race from Kitzbühel? It looks to me, I was there too, but as a spectator, and it looks to me so nice. I mean, really the good place to be.
Yeah, I mean, Kitzbühel, as you know, it's in the heart of the Alps. It's a beautiful place with a very strong history, also in terms of alpine skiing and all that, you know. So it's a very, the place has a great vibe, you know. And for us, it's more into the mountains than Salzburg. We used to start from Salzburg, you know, and the Geisberg was great also to run across the city. But
Yeah.
Kitzbühel has a very strong community of pilots, a really strong mountain community, and it's, I mean, let's be honest, it's one of the paradise in the Alps, you know, one of the best places to just go flying and explore. So for us, it was very exciting, especially because 2 years ago the weather looked pretty bad, very basic, quite humid, and we all thought, okay, it's just going to be a short flight. And at the end of the day, we had flown 180K, so it was just
Yeah.
massive. And that's great, is to see what happens when you put some good pilots in the air together. We all worked together, we flew together, and we covered distance together. And at the end of the day, pretty much like the first 15 pilots, we were all together. You know, it was
Yes.
incredible. Really
True.
cool place. I love it. Hmm.
True. Talking from the side of spectators, I was there at the takeoff and looking up and seeing all these wings all together there. It was so exciting. Really, it's something I always tell to my friends: if you love paragliding, you must be there because it's fantastic.
Yeah, the energy is special, and I think that's also why I personally come back to the X-Alps every 2 years, is because there's nothing else like it. There's a very special experience, you know, to be there, to be part of it, but also to have that feeling, to see all the teams and, you know, the work that people put into it. This is really cool. And when everyone starts to take off, and you know, also for me, because I've been there for so many years, and also because I'm a professional paragliding pilot, so I spend a lot of time with all those guys. Half of the pack are really good friends, you know.
Yes,
We It
true.
doesn't like Netflix wants you to believe something else, but but really, like, we are friends, and we have a lot of respect for each other. So I spend a lot of time with Aaron Derogati in the mountains, or with Paul Bauer, or with Damien Lacaze, of Kriegel, Patrick, all those guys. We know each other really well. We have a lot of respect for each other, and so that's super cool to be there all together and push the boundaries, you know, and say, okay, well, let's see how fast we can go. Let's see how far we can go together. And at the end of the day, it's more about the adventure, at least for me, than the competition. You know, it's more
Yes,
about
sure.
being there and be part of something cool, more than looking at the counter. Because as you know, the Rebel X-Alps is an incredible adventure. It's a race, obviously, but you make one mistake and you're in the back. You know, I know amazing pilots that if that couldn't make it to the end of the race, and the other way around. I know pretty decent pilot that were a little bit lucky and were in the right place in the right time. So, you know, it's just a race, but at the same time, mostly it's an adventure, it's an experience, and yeah, it's beautiful to be able to enjoy the Alps like this with such a strong, a strong organization, because
Right.
you can
Yes,
do it safely in a way. Also, you know, you have a bit of backup if anything happens.
true. Tom, you have seen, I believe, all the evolution of wings from 20 years now during the race. So I believe now they really reached state of the art. Sometimes you look at the wings, you are just there amazed of what you see. What you believe will be, I don't know, there is something that you see that will make the difference, or something quite new that will be shown at the XAlp?
I mean, you know, every year I think this is it. Every time I say, well, this is it, we're not going to make a better glider next time. This is not possible, you know, because it's so light already. It's so fast. The glide is so amazing. I think this year we're going to see a few things. Obviously, the gliders are getting lighter because the material is getting stronger. So imagine the first year in 2007, when I did my first race, my backpack was around 14, 15 kilograms, you know.
Wow.
This year it was going to be around 6.5, you know. So if you look at it, it's a huge difference. In 2009, I remember Dmitry Gusev, it was the Russian guy, came with a SR7 and a Woody Valley cocoon. He had 18 or 19 kilograms on his back, you know,
Wow.
thinking that he was going to
Unbelievable.
fly. He thought, okay, I'm focusing on flying. Obviously, it was not a good idea. A few days later, his knees were destroyed. But I'm just
Yeah.
saying, first, the weight, the resistance, the material is really light, but also really strong. But I think this year, where we're going to see maybe a difference, we'll see, is in the harnesses,
In the
because a lot of people come with submarines. You know, it's pretty new. No one really knows. Is it going to make a huge difference? We think it will, but you have to see every aspect of it. How comfortable it is. Is it too hot? Is it not too hot? Is it easy to go into it? All this. So I think it's still kind of a phase, a test at the moment, but for sure they will come with something like the brands already bring some really cool submarines, and it will be quite nice. I think in 2 years' time it will be perfect, because it needs time to develop. Where I think we will see slowly a difference, and that's my point of view, but I think AI will slowly come into the X-Alps, artificial intelligence, when it comes to analyzing the weather, analyzing tracks, analyzing possibilities for the day, telling you where the next terminal is. Now we have instruments that give us so much information. When you land, you directly get your five or six options on an app, on where to go next, where's the next takeoff, what's the conditions. You can be flying and look at your cockpit. I did that quite a bit last time, is you look at the others flying. When you're flying, you're on the live tracking system, or on Relief Map. On Relief Map, for example, I spent a lot of time on Relief Map. We could see all the athletes. You could see if they were going up, down, where the next terminal is, So I really do think that the next big thing in paragliding will be the use of AI during the flight through instruments. And it will make a big difference, because imagine if one day, that's not for today, but I think in 2 years' time, maybe we'll have type of Google Glass, super light glasses, where you will be able to have all the information, and you will maybe potentially, hopefully, in the near future, be able to see colors on thermals or things like that, because with data, you can basically compact all the data from all those years and all the XA contest, for example, tracks, and say, on a day like today, this is what's possible, and this is the type of thermal and with all this data, you can compact it and say, okay, now this is this type of day, this is what you're going to get, go for it. And we already see people training on online on Flight Simulator. So you have now a paragliding option on Flight Simulator. You can basically say, okay, I'm taking off from Kitzbühel 2:00 in the morning on the 15th of June, and it will give you exactly the angle of the sun. You can say, I want thermal of 3 meters per second, and you can go on glides, telling the glide of the glider. So you can already test at home the route. People are flying it now already, like at the moment I'm talking to you, but I'm sure one of them is flying it now. And so it gives you, you could just take a piece of paper and say, hey, if with a glide of 9, I go above the next pass, or I go below, and you can start flying those routes online. So this is a game changer. I think very soon you'll see people, training like that, training for Big Triangle online on Flight Simulator, using very, very realistic conditions. And also it helps you to see where you are, because you're basically navigating on Google Earth. So you have a really cool view on here's a village, here's this, here's that, here's the landing. And so it will become more realistic. And I think in 2 years' time, every one of us will be only training on that almost, and less real flying. I mean, you'll be flying on good days. Obviously, you'll be flying on good days, and you'll be spending a lot of time flying as much as you can. But you will see what is possible with your glide, your harness, your weight range on Flight Simulator. So I think this is very exciting for the future, and I do think that even if we think that we reached the limit, I'm telling you, we didn't. The glider will go faster, will fly better, will be safer. That's for 100% sure. And I think we are still discovering a lot with those new kite gliders, like Mustache and things like that. Those technologies will come into the two-liners, like things are evolving. People are spending a lot of time, energy, and money on this. And I think very soon we'll see very interesting things coming out.
So probably there will be gliders that we don't even think about it, but maybe in 5 years' time they will be there. Absolutely.
Maybe before, because as I was talking about AI, there is a lot of brands like Advent, for example. They're really investing time and energy into this, in how to implement AI tools in glider developments. And you can start building gliders and test it with AI instead of having to build it and test it by yourself and see what the result will be. So we are getting just basically more intelligent and more effective in developing gliders. And the brands that are on top of the game, like Advance, Ozone, they are pushing, and they'll come with super interesting gliders, like Skywalk did not long ago. So I think that's super cool because, as you know, this is a small world, but still paragliding is evolving. There's a lot more pilots every year. The sport keeps on growing, and the brands have a really cool approach. I think I work with brands and I hear them talking about it, and everyone wants to keep developing and keep evolving. And that's, you talked about Formula One, and I think that's very interesting because obviously gliders we fly at the X-Alps, they're not for everyone, but technically, if you look at it, those gliders, their technology goes down into the whole range of gliders, and everyone benefits from it. So we are the test pilot in a way, and we push. But then you can buy a B glider or C glider that flies incredibly well, but that's because pilots are pushing with it and the brands are pushing to try to be on top of the game. So that's going to be super interesting to see this year.
Yeah. Really, Tom, thanks very much because you gave us a very nice view, and we didn't talk a lot about, let's say, your race, but you gave us this fantastic view of the paragliding world, of the X-Alps world, and so we really look forward to see you anyway, let's say, giving advice to the race, and we are going to connect every evening at around 9 o'clock to make the point of the day. So maybe I will send you also some more messages. Maybe if you can share with us some of your thoughts, it will be very, very interesting.
Yeah, Rinaldo, that would be a pleasure, really, because this is my plan. This is what I want to do this year. I want to show the backstage. I know all those guys. I can go around the teams and stuff, and I can also give you my approach or the way I see the strategy live. So don't hesitate. I'm sure we'll be talking during the race in one of those evenings. You call me and we can chat. I'll be super happy to share what I see and what I hear, and go a little bit more deeper into the whole thing.
Absolutely.
Info to people. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much to you. So we'll see in Kitzbühel at the starting.
For sure. I see you in Kitzbühel for polenta and a beer.
Good. Thank you.
All right. You take care.
Ciao, Tom. Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.